Hello everyone and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, where we're trying to prove that the crazy old man is crazy old man. And they think we might have him. We're going to have to explain to Godot where we're going with this. According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand, while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make that his left. What is this, kindergarten? But I would like the court to please take a look at this. Yep. Okay, I see why it wanted the cup now. Because of if you were holding it correctly, like he would have had to have been holding it with his right hand for the stain on the rim to be on that side. Okay, I see it now. I thought the picture made sense because like the way the cup had been knocked over made it seem like he had been holding it with his right. That's the cup the victim used, correct? Yes, and on the rim you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips. Man, that is like such a small detail. Yes, there's a stain left by the coffee. If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup in his right hand. How? Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song. Oh, please let that be a thing that happens now. Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid this is simply not acceptable. I think the witness had better go back to the park where he came from. Wait. If you think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad, you're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw. You still insist on your testimony? That young brat was holding the cup in his left hand. Oh yes, no question. I'm good. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot and you spiky-haired yahoo who are at fault. Who, me? Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already. Don't call me old man, old man. Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but sure, why not hear a little more? Mr. Godot? Godot. Sorry. Yes, I don't know. I've probably been switching back and forth. But this is my 16th cup of coffee. So this is your final stand. Thank you, Captain. You can rely on Victor. What? Left hand or right hand? Okay. The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side, the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye. It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers. A monitor? You mean like a television screen? The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work. HD, TV, DVD, CD, all these newfangled letters drive me mad, but they don't matter. I know what I saw and I'm telling the truth. It's true, he doesn't seem to be lying. And those are the facts in good old black and white. Was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. So the victim was wearing an HMD. HMD, CD, DVD, what does it matter? It was none of them actually, but anyway. And you're sure that he was wearing the earpiece on the same side. No question, I could only see that side of his head from where I was sitting. Yeah, that's pretty obvious if you look at the floor plans. From the opposite table, so he was at the bottom right. Then how was he seeing, never mind, I probably don't want to know. I was like, how is he seeing the waitress's back? But you know what? Some things I'm willing to let just be a mystery. From the opposite table, he'd only have a view of the side of the victim's head. It seems you kept an eye on Mr. Glenn Elg then. He was getting on my nerves, rustling the newspaper and fiddling with his earpiece all the time. And then he went and made all that fuss dying from one sip of Javasino. I wanted to say to him, calm down, you young brat. Just looking at him made me suddenly speed up my seed eating. I could have choked. So I take it the victim was a walking ball of nervous energy. Oh, it's probably important. He was fiddling with it just before he picked the cup, too. The earpiece you mentioned, which hand did the victim touch it with? You're one of those people, aren't you? You're the type that uses your left hand to get things out of your right pocket. Or fastens your left cuff with your right hand. Wait, isn't that normal? And when the tour guy says, on your right side, you'll see the famous blah blah. You're the only one who deliberately looks left. Well, aren't you? No, I didn't mean... Obviously, you used the hand that was the same side of his body that the earpiece was on. Ow, ow, ow! So if he had the HMD on his left side, then it was his left hand, I guess. You seem very sure of yourself, Mr. Kudo. That's because I know what I saw, no matter what tricks you try and play on me. It looks like he really did see the guy picking the cup up with his left hand. This is a dead end. Well, Nick, what do you think? I think the guy's telling the truth. But even so, something's not quite right. Then chuck evidence at him until he breaks. But if he's not lying, there wouldn't be any contradictions in his testimony, right? Do we have what was our picture? The client was found guilty. He was writing in there too. Just given the way the space is used, it seems like that would have been done left-handed. I could be wrong. That could be just absolutely nothing, but just the fact that it's like so far on the left, that seems like the type of thing a right-handed person would have a hard time with. Picked it from a bench and vitamins. No, that's not gonna help. That's not gonna help. No, no. Time death, nope. Is there more to that? Nope. Okay, so we pretty much established Kudo was in the bottom right. So he really only would have been able to see Elg's left side. But it's very, very clear, just even from that photo, that he was holding that cup in his right hand. Pockets of big stains. Now that's gonna help. Deadly. We haven't mentioned in the prescription. Riches of Tribulations. Was a programmer, wore an HMD over the left eye. Left eardrum was ruptured. Oh, wait. Or not that one. Oh, you can't see his face. I also don't know if this matters. Same side as the green lens. So two things about that strike me is why would he specify green? And not just say the lens? And two, I'm looking at that and I'm like, is that really green? I don't know that green is necessarily like the first. I originally thought it was blue. I think it's like a turquoise. Kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup too, which would have been with his left hand, which seems impossible. He then used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left, which we know he didn't do. I kind of like this. I feel like this is getting more difficult. Or I'm just completely like overlooking something obvious. But I feel like I've done a pretty decent job so far. So I'd like to think that's not the case. It very well could be. Well, Nick, what do you think? I think the guy's telling the truth. But even so, something's not quite right. The only thing I have, really, like, it's such a flimsy thing to go on, but I don't see anything else that contradicts. I don't see any other evidence that makes sense here. Like the picture again. But the picture, despite what like we can glean from it, I don't think it directly contradicts anything he's said. So I think I'm just gonna go with my super, super weak idea. I'm not sure what the relevance of this is, but Mr. Kudo, there's something very strange about your observations of the victim. What? You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD. Oh, but he couldn't be. That's what it was. Because that would have been his left ear, which was messed up. Okay. So it wasn't my super weak. Alright, that was just me being dumb. Okay. No question, you can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. I could only see the side of his head from where I was sitting. I don't think so. What did you say? You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo, but the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured. Eh? Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right, it's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear, because he couldn't even hear in that ear. Is that true, Captain? It is. Pigeon. Pretty pigeon. Order, order, order. This witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind. And he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godot? A single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man is my drop of milk. Captain, are you calling me a drip? This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows that the victim picked it up with his right hand. I'll never back down. I know I'm right. The lad drank his Javasino with his left hand. Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly the victim used both hands. He took a sip of the cup with the cup held in his right hand and then switched to his left, except no, objection. That's what the old man saw. Impossible. The witness has already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Which hand the victim used to pick up his coffee is irrelevant, Your Honor. It really isn't, though. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. Elk drank the poison coffee. Like this. Sadly, Mr. Godot, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless. I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I am satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce. Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you pompous old fogey. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, you can't reach me from there. I'm ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. The court is adjourned. Oh. What? Wait. If we stop now, where does that leave me? Leave you, Mr. Kudo. Thanks to that blue-suited young upstart over there. I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's or cross his I's now. How is your bad memory my fault? I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do. I've kept my mouth shut till now. But there's something else the court should know. What? There's more. To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything. But I want another chance. I want another crack at you, young shark. Me? He's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun. Well, everyone, what do you say to one final showdown? The final chapter of this eccentric old man's scrapbook. Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee. What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the Javasino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man. That's enough, a witness. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony. You bet, much quicker. I can't believe this is happening. Ha ha ha! You better get ready, youngster. I get the picture. Just quit throwing those seeds at me, would you? He's got to be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds. Final showdown. All right. First of all, I want to stress this might be nothing. I'm not too sure of it myself. The young boy slumped over at the table as soon as he took one sip of his Javasino. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down, Is that all? Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're doubting me again. You're doubting a poor, defenseless old man. No, we are not doubting you, Mr. Kudo. Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick? Yeah. So what? Probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy. You're a bird brain. That's all you can think of. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your final cross-examination, please. Okay. The court generally prefers if witnesses are sure of themselves, Mr. Kudo. Noisy brat, I'm warning you, I'm more savage than a macho man right now. You won't beat me with testimony. This is the final battle. Ow, ow, ow. He's chucking those seeds harder than ever. I better be careful. Come on, Nick, nail him. The court has already heard that testimony, Mr. Kudo. I know that, I was just setting the mood. How else am I supposed to build up suspense, The suspense? Yes, now what do you think? Should I work the audience a bit more? No, please continue, Mr. Kudo, as quickly as possible. Alright, now where was I? Ah, yes, the young boy slumped over the table and... A vase, you say? Yes, there are vases on all the tables in that place. There are accidents waiting to happen. They're practically begging to be knocked over. Well, he's right about there being vases. I do remember seeing them, too. There's a vase on the table when I ate lunch there, and you saw the moment when the victim actually knocked over the vase. Well, it's hard to say. It's a bit unclear. How do you really define... Okay, I get it. I heard it break, and the sight of it is burned into my memory as clear as day. Is that... I've been... Well, alright. It didn't break. It didn't break at all. Oops, I forgot to press last one. You mean the vase on the victim's table falling upside down and breaking? The vase turned upside down, and my testimony turning this case upside down. It's a joke. I just wanted everyone to hear it. What do you think, Captain? I'm impressed by your ability to waste time. Godot hasn't raised any objections for a while now. So, young show-off, with that scrap of information, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. If I lose this one, I'll take it like a man and admit defeat. He's really giving you the evil eye, Maya. It's you he's looking at, Nick, not me. It's like he's saying, I triple dog dare you to find a contradiction, youngin'. Guess I'll have to raise the challenge then. Okay. Clumsy idiot upset the vase, he knocked it right over. It broke. But, oh wait, no, because we have in the picture that it's not broke. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene. So what? Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact. Huh? Lost your tongue, Granddad? I'm no granddad of yours, Hopscotch. Ow, ow! Enough! If you throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. Ah! Ooh, what is it now? I just remembered something. Yes, go on. The broken vase. It was on my table. What? Ah, well, you see... It startled me when that young lad collapsed, so I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean. The vase on your table? Yes, it was on my table. And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked. Okay. No one knows how to what to make of that. Thank you, Mr. Kudo. You certainly earned your kudos for today. I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been any use at all? Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo. Wait a minute. In that case, there's more. I've got more to say. Oh yes, I remember something else. Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom. Wait, listen to me. No, I want his testimony. Well, it seems we have been considerably sidetracked, and I'm still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are two disparities in the testimony we have heard this far. The mark of the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand, and the earpiece, which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear. Wow, Nick, you did it! I therefore require both the defense and prosecution to further investigate the facts. Yes, Your Honor. There's one more thing before I call today's session to an end. One more thing, Your Honor. The witness we just heard from, he is most insistent that his testimony should be of use, so he summarized it accordingly into this statement. Okay. You may each have a copy of it if you wish. Whatever. The prosecution doesn't need props like that. It does really mad, huh? Yeah, I would be too. Very well. Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies, my own, yours, and Mr. Godot's. Yes, Your Honor. Broke the vase at my seat, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry, this isn't a piece of testimony, more like a 5-year-old's apology. Why the heck are we supposed to deal with 3 copies? Oh, we'll use them. That's gonna be important. That is all, court is adjourned. Oh, alright, I thought there was gonna be talking afterwards. Cool, alright, that's perfect place to call it an episode. Not the information that I was necessarily expecting, but there was some good pieces in there. A couple right answers for not the reasons I was expecting, but I feel like the picture could have worked, but I will definitely concede that the coffee cup was better. I remember that coming up a lot in Danganronpa too, where I felt like the answer I used was good, but there ended up being like other evidence that just fit just that little bit better. Yeah, I'm having a good time with this. I hope you are as well. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.